Hello everybody, today we're going to be learning more about algebra and as well as distributive property. Distributive property is a property of algebra which allows us to distribute a multiplied value across a polynomial. So let's look at some examples over here to see how we can use distributive property. So as you can see, this 2 in front of your parentheses tells us that we can distribute this 2 across a quantity of a plus b. So that would mean that this 2 would be able to distribute across to the a, and this 2 would be able to distribute across against the b. So when we multiply 2 times a, we're going to get 2a. And whenever we're multiplying this number by anything within the parentheses, we keep this addition sign. This addition sign does not move, so we're going to keep it there. And then we're going to multiply this 2 by the b, which we're going to get 2b. So our final answer is going to be 2a plus 2b. Distributive property tells us that 2 times the quantity of a plus b is 2a plus b, which is our final result over here. So if we continue and further up our scales, we can see that we have 2 values or 2 variables here. So that would mean that both variables combined, since they're getting multiplied together, right? This means that they're multiplying. They're going to get distributed across all 3 terms within this binomial. Within this polynomial. So that would mean that this xy would get multiplied by this a, and this xy would get multiplied by this b, and this xy would also get multiplied by this c. So our next result is going to be xy. If we multiply xy by a, we're going to get xya, and then we're going to keep this operation as plus, and then we're going to multiply this xy by b, so we're going to get xyb. And the way you can write this is, if you don't have to put a dot there, you can write it beside each other so that we know that all 3 terms are being multiplied together. And then finally, we can have our xy multiplied by our c. So then we're going to keep this addition sign as well, and we're going to multiply by x, y, and c. So that way we just expanded this polynomial right over here. So let's look at, what if we have a negative value in front of the parentheses? So there's a negative 5 right here. This is our negative 5, right? What if we have a negative value over here? So remember, you have to distribute this negative across all 3 terms within the brackets. The negative doesn't stay where it is. It moves around in each term. And you have to multiply by the negative here, multiply by the negative for the 2, negative 3, and you have to multiply all the negatives. So let's see what our final result's going to be. If we were to distribute this negative 5 to x, we're going to get negative 5x, right? But now if we were to multiply our negative 5 to the 2, right, we're going to get a negative times a negative will give us a positive. So this is going to be a 5 times 2, which is going to give us a positive 10. And if we're to finally multiply this negative 5 to this negative 3, we're going to get a negative times a negative, which we're going to get a positive 15. And remember, always keep the variable. So you're going to get negative 5x plus 10 and plus y. Another extra step that you can do is move this numbers around to make sure that it's in the right order. So whichever one is decreasing order, that's what we're going to write first. So 5x plus 5y and then plus 10. These both equal the same answer, right? So distributive property definitely can work with negative numbers as well. And every time we make rules, right, we can make sure that the rule is actually working. We can make sure that distributive property is working for all types of terms. So let's use this example right over here where we have 2 bracket or parentheses 5 minus 4. What would happen if we just did order of operations, right? What if we just did the brackets first using PEDMAS or BEDMAS? What if we did that first and then multiply by 2? So let's check it out. So 2, we're going to leave the 2 here. 5 minus 4 is going to give us 1, right? 2 times 1 is 2. But what if we just use the concept we learned right now, which is called distributive property, where we're going to distribute the 2 across the parentheses? Well, let's see what happens. Well, 2 times 5 is going to be 10. But then 2 times negative 4 is going to be negative 8. So 10 minus 8 is also 2. So as you can see, distributed property as well as order of operations is going to result in the same answer, the same product, the same difference. It's all going to result in the same thing. But why exactly would it be beneficial if we learn distributed property and if we use it in our when we're calculating our polynomials? Well, once we start looking at more complex polynomials, right, it's going to be easier for us to expand the brackets, right? It's going to be definitely way more easier than just doing order of operation because it's more complex. But using distributive property, we can simplify and expand that polynomial to something that we're more used to and more comfortable with. So other than that, I hope you guys learned something for this video and have an amazing rest of your day.